Howdy. So today I'm going to read Mosiah chapter 27. Before I do that, though, I'd like to invite you to hit pause and say a prayer and ask for discernment so that you can get it as you're supposed to. If you want your own physical copy of the Book of Mormon, not unlike this one, you can follow one of the links in the description to request a copy from the church. It's actually the second link. If you don't want to do that, if you want to get one without having to go through the church, you can send an email directly to me at thetruthaboutwaffles@gmail.com, and I'll send you a copy just like this, maybe even this one, with my testimony written on the blank page or the inside cover, other inside cover, whatever, anywhere you want, even on the back. I could put it back there so that you could be like, oh, he believes all this, and then there's my testimony. What else? You should definitely take notes. Anything that jumps out at you, that maybe inspires you, you should write it down. Or if you have any questions, write those down. There's a link in the description you can use to follow along online. I missed that one. And there are other links beneath those which allow you to download the Gospel Library app for your Windows, Android, or iOS device. And that just gives you access to the same stuff that's on LDS.org, which is like conference talks, the Book of Mormon, Pearl of Great Price, New Testament, Old Testament, Doctrine and Covenants, all that good stuff. Speaking of conference, we just had a conference. Y'all should totally check out the conference talks from this past weekend. It'd be totally sweet. Okay, so yeah, Mosiah chapter 27. It's kind of long, and I'm kind of tired because it's late. It's not that late, but it's almost 11 o'clock, so it's kind of late. And on Wednesday night, because I usually record these Wednesday night. And I just I'm spent. Been thinking a lot and expanding a lot on what's in the scriptures for one of my classes, and then I had to do math. So I'm exhausted. And now it came to pass that the persecutions which were inflicted on the church by the unbelievers became so great that the church began to murmur and complain to their leaders concerning the matter. And they did complain to Alma, and Alma laid the case before their king Mosiah, and Mosiah consulted with his priests. And it came to pass that King Mosiah sent a proclamation throughout the land round about, that there should not any believer persecute any of those who belong to the church of God. And there was a strict commandment throughout all the churches that there should be no persecutions among them, that there should be an equality among all men, that they should let no pride nor haughtiness disturb their peace, that every man should esteem his neighbor as himself, laboring with their own hands for their support. Yea, and all their priests and teachers should labor with their own hands for their support, in all cases, save it were in sickness or in much want. And doing these things, they did abound in the grace of God. And there began to be much peace again in the land. And the people began to be very numerous, and began to scatter abroad upon the face of the earth, yea, on the north and on the south, and on the east and on the west, building large cities and villages in all quarters of the land. And the Lord did visit them, and prosper them, and they became a large and wealthy people. And now the sons of Mosiah were numbered among the unbelievers, and also one of the sons of Alma was numbered among them, he being called Alma, after his father. Nevertheless, he became a very wicked and idolatrous man, and he was a man of many words, like at least 5, and did speak much flattery to the people. Therefore he led many of the people to do after the manner of his iniquities. And he became a great hinderment to the prosperity of the church of God, stealing away the hearts of the people, causing much dissension among the people, giving a chance for the enemy of God to exercise his power over them. And now it came to pass that while he was going about to destroy the church of God, for he did go about secretly with the sons of Mosiah, seeking to destroy the church. That was weird. I thought the video stopped. and to lead astray the people of the Lord, contrary to the commandments of God, or even the king. And as I said unto you, as they were going about rebelling against God, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto them, and he descended as it were in a cloud, and he spake as it were with a voice of thunder, which caused the earth to shake upon which they stood. Which caused the earth to shake upon which they stood. Okay. And so great was their astonishment that they fell on the earth, and understood not the words which he spake unto them. Nevertheless he cried, saying, Alma, arise and stand forth, for why persecutest thou the church of God? For the Lord hath said, This is my church, and I will establish it, and nothing shall overthrow it, save it is the transgression of my people. And again the angel said, Behold, the Lord hath heard the prayers of his people, and also the prayers of his servant, Alma, who is thy father. For he has prayed with much faith concerning thee, that thou mightest be brought to the knowledge of the truth. Therefore, for this purpose have I come to convince thee of the power and authority of God, and the prayers of his servants might be answered according to their faith. And now, behold, can ye dispute the power of God? For behold, doth not my voice shake the earth? And can ye not also behold me before you? And I am sent from God. Now I say unto thee, Go, and remember the captivity of thy fathers in the land of Elam, and in the land of Nephi, and remember how great things he has done for them. For they were in bondage, and he was delivered them. He has delivered them, not was delivered them. And now I say unto thee, Alma, go thy way, and seek to destroy the church no more, that their prayers may be answered, and even if thou wilt of thyself be cast off. And now it came to pass that these were the last words which the angel spake unto Alma, and he departed. And now Alma and those that were with him fell again to the earth, for great was their astonishment, for with their own eyes they had beheld an angel of the Lord. And his voice was as thunder, which shook the earth, and they knew that there was nothing save the power of God that could shake the earth and cause it to tremble, as though it would part asunder. And now the astonishment of Alma was so great that he became dumb, that he could not open his mouth, yea, and he became weak, even that he could not move his hand. I'm sorry I read it that way. That was weird. I saw a comma. Therefore he was taken by those that were with him, and carried helpless, even until he was laid before his father. And they rehearsed unto his father all that had happened unto them. And his father rejoiced, for he knew that it was the power of God. Okay, I'm not really supposed to comment on this, but I have to on this one because I just think it's interesting. So this isn't really going to uplift you spiritually or nourish you spiritually, but the part where it says, and they rehearsed unto his father all that had happened. I kind of think of... Actually, never mind, I'm not going to say it. And he caused that a multitude should be gathered together, and that they might witness what the Lord had done for his son, and also for those that were with him. And he caused that the priests should assemble themselves together, and they began to fast and to pray to the Lord their God, that he would open the mouth of Alma, that he might speak, and also that his limbs might receive their strength, that the eyes of the people might be opened to see and know of the goodness and glory of God. And it came to pass, after they had fasted and prayed for the space of 2 days and 2 nights, the limbs of Alma received their strength, and he stood up and began to speak unto them, bidding them to be of good comfort. For said he, I have repented of my sins, and have been redeemed of the Lord. Behold, I am born of the Spirit. And the Lord said unto me, Marvel not that all mankind, yea, men and women, all nations, kindreds, tongues, and people, must be born again, yea, born of God, changed from their carnal and fallen state to a state of righteousness, being redeemed of God, becoming his sons and daughters. And thus they become new creatures, and unless they do this, they can in no wise inherit the kingdom of God. I say unto you, unless this be the case, they must be cast off, and this I know, because I was like to be cast off. Nevertheless, after waiting through much tribulation, repenting nigh unto death, the Lord in mercy hath seen fit to snatch me out of an everlasting burning, and I am born of God. My soul hath been redeemed from the gall of bitterness and bonds of iniquity. I was in the darkest abyss, but now I behold the marvelous light of God. My soul was racked with eternal torment, but I am snatched, and my soul is pained no more. I rejected my Redeemer and denied that which had been spoken of by our fathers. But now that they may foresee that he will come, and that he remembereth every creature of his creating, he will make himself manifest unto all. Yea, every knee shall bow, and every tongue confess before him. Yea, even at the last day, when all men shall stand to be judged of him. Then shall they confess that he is God. Then shall they confess, who live without God in the world, that the judgment of an everlasting punishment is just upon them. And they shall quake and tremble and shrink beneath the glance of his all-searching eye. And now it came to pass that Alma began from this time forward to teach the people, and those who were with Alma at the time, the angel appeared unto them, traveling round about through all the land, publishing to all people the things which they had heard and seen, and preaching the word of God in much tribulation, being greatly persecuted by those who were unbelievers, being smitten by many of them. But notwithstanding all this, they did impart much consolation to the church, confirming their faith and exhorting them with long suffering and much travail to keep the commandments of God. And 4 of them were the sons of Mosiah, and their names were Ammon, and Aaron, and Omner, and this one I'm not sure. Hymni? I don't know. These were the names of the sons of Mosiah. And they traveled throughout all the land of Zarahemla, and among all the people who were under the reign of King Mosiah, zealously striving to repair all the injuries which they had done to the church, confessing all their sins, and publishing all things which they had seen, and explaining the prophecies in the scriptures to all who desired to hear them. And thus they were instruments in the hands of God, in bringing many to the knowledge of the truth, yea, to the knowledge of their Redeemer. And now blessed are they, for they did publish peace, and they did publish good tidings of good, and did declare unto people that the Lord reigneth. Alright, so thanks for watching. I decided not to share what I wanted to share because it's kind of random, and I don't know. It might not be obvious to everybody. But if you want to know, you can email me, hit me up, and I'll explain. Not really explain, but I'll just go over what I thought. It actually will be less interesting if you do that, though. So, yeah. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week, or sooner. I don't know.